as long as we feel like we've waited for this, I know Supernote has felt like this has been an eternity. I think they wanted to have this come out mid-year, and I think just manufacturing and logistical challenges have meant that this became a Christmas item instead of a mid-year thing. But I'm excited to see what this is like. I know there's a lot of people with A5Xs who are keen to see what the X2 has in store. I think this is going to be a bit of a different story from the Kindle Scribe that we opened yesterday, where not much had really changed between the previous year's model and that one. The A5X2, I think, is almost a complete rebuild and a complete redesign. So I'm expecting a lot of differences in this device. And then the other thing that we're going to take a look at while we're in here is how does this compare to the A6X2? So this is the other option, a little bit on the smaller side, a little bit more on the go, and hopefully will help you decide which of these two is right for you, or is something else a better fit for you. So feel free to respond along in the chat. I'm going to be taking a look at those and trying to answer as many of those questions as I can. So if something sparks your interest or you have a question, feel free to drop that in there. This is the day 3 of our 3 days of live streams. So we started with the V Woods AI paper, which is over here. This was Thursday's stream. Yesterday we did the Kindle Scribe, and then today we're going to do the A5X2. All right. Any questions before we get ready to get into it? Oh, one other thing. So when we started this stream, sorry, my buttons don't work. This is playlist. This is what I've been working on when I'm not building videos for this channel. It's a planner for your day and for your focus. And it kind of tries to solve something that I had experienced with every other planner I had used, which is at a certain point, you've got enough going on that seeing everything on your plate becomes overwhelming. And so the idea behind playlists is you have a dedicated planning stage, and then you have a doing stage. And so plan your week, plan your day, and then when you get to the day at hand, just execute that plan. And so if you organize it based on how your energy functions and your high energy tasks and your low energy tasks, you can go through and press play on it, just like you do a music playlist. If that sounds interesting to you, you can help support the channel by going to playlist.day and joining the waitlist. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the Supernote A5X2. All right, this is on manual focus. Let's go ahead and tweak that because I think we're going to move around a little bit. It always takes a second to get the remote working. Come on. If anyone knows a better remote for a Sony camera, let me know because I don't love this one. Let's get into it. There is a Supernote pen. I guess one thing we didn't talk about is price point. Well, let's jump back for a second. So what is the Supernote A5X2 and what to expect? So price point is $459. I believe that price does not include a pen. Hold on, let me double check this. Yes. Price point does not include a pen, so you're going to want to add a pen to it. It does use EMR tech, but you are going to want something that has a harder nib. My personal favorite is this push-up pen. It's this acrylic plastic, but I really love that you can click it in when you're not using it and preserve your nib. So hold on. This is that pen, and it's probably my favorite pen of any pen, and it's a great fidget device. All right. So $459, what do you get for that $459? 10.7-inch device, so it's a full-size device, and the Folio is separate. So you have to add the Folio if you want the Folio. Typically, the Supernote Folios are great, and I highly recommend them. The cool thing about the Supernote is everything on it is replaceable. So you can change the battery, and you can upgrade the motherboard. And so the goal is that this is a device that you can keep for many years to come. 32 gigs of storage on board. It does have a micro SD slot that you can add to it. 3600 milliamp hour battery, and a 1.8 gigahertz quad core processor. I've always found the Supernotes to be pretty responsive, so no real concerns there. It runs Android 11. It's a custom version of Android 11 that you can sideload apps with. No Google Play Store. And then you have partner apps for your phone and for your computer. All right, that's what we're going to be taking a look at. And if we have time, there's one other thing I might show you. We'll just have to see if there's time. All right, let's get into it. So this is the Supernote pen. Let's see what, I forget which one the Supernote pen is. Let me move this out of the way. And let's get, oh, okay, so this is the Safari twin tip. Let's see. So I have seen this pen. I have never used this pen. I have plenty of Lamy pens, but I don't have the twin tip. So what's interesting about the twin tip is it's both a EMR stylus and a regular pen, depending on which way you twist it. But again, I've never used one of these. So this is a Lamy Safari twin tip, but it has the Supernote ceramic nib that you don't need to replace. So it's kind of a collaboration between the two. And then on the other side is just a regular pen. So let's see. Yeah, so I can write with a regular pen and then twist it the other way and have an EMR stylus. Pretty nifty. The trade-off here is no eraser. But the good news is on a Supernote, you don't need an eraser because their gesture support is really good. I am bad at twisting this though. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I'm actually untwisting it. So that's regular pen. Did I break this? What am I doing wrong? There we go. I think it's happy now. There we go. Twist. Okay, you just have to twist it less than I'm twisting it. I'm twisting it too much. Sweet. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Next up is the half folio. Ari asks, can you scratch the screen if you forget to twist? It's not a good idea to forget to twist, but I don't know. I'll be your scapegoat. We'll try it out. All right, there's some instructions. So there's some clips that go in here. And those are going to go into the side of the device. So let's move this. All right, D. Wang says, I think a video about the process of developing playlists would be really interesting. So I would love to do that. Something I've been afraid of is talking too much about playlists too early in the process for fear that people will not get the big picture as it's being developed. But as we get closer to launch, which I'm hoping is going to be in the early part of next year, I'm really excited to talk about the philosophy and the process as it kind of starts to take shape. But I would love to do that. And thank you for mentioning that you'd be interested. Whoa, okay, there's cool instructions. All right, quick start guide. Let me get this knife out of here before I cut myself. I love that this is an off-white paper. This is really cool. Okay, and there's some pen loops in here. So these are replaceable. I'll give you a couple sets. You've got a USB-C. This is funny. They give you a screwdriver that says, I am not a pen, because they don't want you to accidentally ruin your screen. What are you? What is this? I don't know what this is. All right, I'll figure out what that is later. It's got the same hole pattern as the pen loop. So Reynard asked, what kinds of apps would you potentially sideload? My personal favorite is Readwise Reader because it's my reading app of choice that isn't Kindle. It's really nice being able to have everything that you read on one device. And then there's some extra screws in the event that you lose some. All right, quick start guide. Front, back, 7. This is how you unlock the Folio, is that little switch right there. You can change the pen loop screws there. We can open the back panel. Again, 2 of the parts on this device are user replaceable. You can replace the battery and you can replace the motherboard in the event that they come up with an upgraded motherboard. And then long press to power on. Is there anything else I need to know? I think that's everything I need to know. All right, let's get the Folio onto this thing. It's cold. It's been outside. I failed. What did I do wrong? It's just adhered well. It's not the most beautiful of unboxings, and that's all my fault. But the device is really cool. All right, I don't think... Well, we might take the pen loops out. Let's leave that out. All the rest of this we can take off of here. This feels really cool in your hand. It's very much a Supernote device. And so what I mean by that is it is plastic, but it is a very dense, durable feeling plastic. It's always an unpopular opinion to use plastic on a device, but Supernote does it the best I've seen. This is one of those devices where they made some unconventional design decisions to make a device that is a joy to use. And I've felt that way about every Supernote device I've ever encountered. So Mikhail says that thing is to measure the pen and cut the pen loop exactly for your own pen. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you can use that for a custom pen size. All right, so we're gonna put the Folio in. That looks good. Do I need to lock it in place? No, it's already locked. Gorgeous. Love it. It's beautiful. All right, power button is here. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And I'm expecting the Supernote software to be the same across all these devices. That's one of the cool things about Supernote, which is they don't leave you stuck at an older version. If you buy a device, you can expect it to run the software until it just physically cannot. And knock on wood, I don't really think there's been many instances of that. I think the original A5 before the X, they no longer support, but they gave all A5 customers a discount towards an A5X. All right, US. We're gonna join the Wi-Fi. Bear with me for a second. All right, we are back. All right, let me go ahead and, well, let's not lock the screen yet. Let's do a walkthrough around the device. So let's grab an A5. We're gonna update this one later. So this is my personal A5X, and we can compare what is new on the A5X2. So the Folio is very different. So the previous Folio was kind of a thin material, and I really liked that. Like, this device doesn't feel any thicker with the Folio on versus with the Folio off, which is not something I can say about most devices that have a Folio. It feels like the Supernote is intended to be used with a Folio versus it being an afterthought. It does wear, so like you can see plenty of scratches because I've used and lived with this device. but I kind of love it. Like, I don't mind little signs of wear, but that's me. You can kind of make up your own mind about how you feel about that. Folio this time around is a half folio, so it only adds thickness to the front, which I think is a brilliant decision. The old one actually was both sides, but it was just very thin. So, but cool to leave the thickness from your hand to the desk as minimal as possible. Brilliant. That's exactly what you want to see from a folio device. So looking great there. The material is a soft touch material. I'll see if I can get you a look at the texture. I believe it's a vegan faux leather. Feels good. No complaints on the feel. And it's tapered. So you can see it's hard or semi-hard. Like, again, it's got a little bit of flex. But then the edges are sealed and it's soft. So I think this is going to hold up well. I guess one note is these things do typically show a little bit of dirt and age. This is my A5X2 that's a little over a year old, if I'm not mistaken, and it's lived. I did let someone borrow it. I didn't get it quite this dirty, but just know that it will get dirty over time. You could probably clean it, but just know that that's the case, especially if you choose a light color. I feel like this color is less likely to show dirt, but will still show dirt. And Chris says that magic erasers work great, which that makes sense to me. I guess one thing they did change is on the A5X2, at least this version, it has a leather pen loop. And so that may or may not fit your pen well. It fits this pen well, but if you have a thinner pen like the push pen that I was using, it's a little too big. And that was one of my minor complaints. This time around, it's elastic. And so it'll take a few different pen sizes. And as Mikhail mentioned, you can also cut your own size pen loop if you want to, which is a great option. All right, what else is different? Well, a lot. So around the device is very different. So you'll notice these tapered edges. And again, they call this the A5X2 Manta because they took a lot of influence from a manta ray in that they needed it to be thicker at a couple points for ports and I/O, ports and buttons. And so you'll see it tapers out for the on-off switch and for the USB-C. And then around the edges, it thins out, which is nice. It feels really good in your hand. And it gives the illusion, well, it's not even an illusion. It makes the device feel thinner than it otherwise would if they had stuck with the rectangular boxy shape that we're used to. So like the A5X feels notably thicker than the A5X2. I mean, look at that. That's pretty significant, especially in hand, which is pretty cool. Well done. Again, they really pushed the envelope. Also, you now get the rubber feet that I love. So the Remarkable 2 was the first that I remember to do this. The Kindle Scribe has great feet as well. I think the Go 10.3 may even... No, the Go 10.3 doesn't, but it has this soft back. But this is definitely my preferred way for one of these devices to stay put. You don't have to worry about it moving around the desk. I mean, I'm really pushing it here. So it'll stay put when writing. Let's see, what else? Thickness is different. They moved the placement of the USB-C. So instead of in the middle, it's to the side. I agree with this decision. This is much better. The middle is kind of no man's land, in my opinion. I think that's the exterior. I think the plastic itself feels similar. It's probably not technically the same, but if you've got an A5X, feels similar, maybe slightly more durable. Really cool. Really, really cool. So Stuff Writers Like says, I love the design. I've been using the Remarkable Paper Pro since it came out, and I fear I'm going to miss the light and be annoyed by the slight glare the Supernotes can get. Yeah, I mean, you do lose the front light, but you get a closer writing feel. This has always been the trade-off with this stuff. Let's go ahead and join. Sure. I like Supernote. I will support them. Hey, I can be a lefty on a Supernote. I can't be a lefty on the V Woods AI paper yet. All right, these are the same as they typically are. You can open the sidebar. Cool. And create a new note. Let's see some more templates. You're not going to let me change my template yet? They want me to go ahead and create this. All right, so we've got different pen options. Lovely. Tap with 2 fingers to hide. Awesome. Tap with 1 finger to hide this bar at the bottom. Oh, it's double tap. Lovely. And then you can move this around. So I can move it here. I can have it float. Usually what I'll do is I'll have mine at the bottom. Let's see, they want me to press this button. I like it at the bottom. No. Oh, okay, so you can make it really small. This is a cool wizard. I like that they're... I mean, I don't love that they're forcing me, but I want it to go to the bottom. There we go. Sweet. Let's start. This is not a pen. There we go. All right, is there anything else around the X here? I guess one other thing, hopefully I won't break it, but I do want to show that this back comes off. I'm probably supposed to turn it off first. Should I have read the instructions before I try to take the back off? Probably. All right, we're going to wait until we read the instructions before we break it trying to take the back off. Of course, now I can't get it back. There we go. All right, all back to normal. Let's not break it right away. That would be bad. Let's get started. All right, so what I did there is if you hold 2 fingers on the side, you can erase. This is what I was talking about the gestures on the Supernote. So let's see. So this is a very fine liner pen. I don't typically like fine liners. I think we're going to tweak this. Let's try it a little bit thicker. So this is what they call the needle point. I typically don't like these just because they don't have anti-aliasing or adjustments to thickness based on pressure. Scott says you have to slide it. Okay, I'll try that. This feels better. I still don't love, again, fine liners, but that's just a personal preference thing for me. The other cool thing about Supernote is they let you customize your tools and keep them as presets, which is something I really enjoy. I usually will have one of these set up as a highlighter. I guess they call it a marker on here. So you just make it a dark gray. But you can't really make it super thick. Oh, hold on. No, this is an eraser. I don't know why I thought they had like a proper highlighter. Yeah, I guess that is the highlighter. So this is the ink pen at 0.5 millimeters. I love that they use proper dimensions. Yes. This is much better. This is what I would use. So the ink pen 0.5 feels excellent. A+, that's the one I would use. And then I can switch over to a highlighter. Looks good. You have undo and redo on the sides. So if I do up, swipe, that's an undo, down swipe, that's a redo. Really great. Feels good. I can hold 2 fingers and draw a selection to select something. I can then cut or copy. I forget what this one is. Is that duplicate? I don't remember what that one does. I guess it's like, I don't know. You can do headings, you can do keywords. I can do links. I haven't messed with links much. Okay, so you can link that to another file. So that's good for like a table of contents. All right, let's check what it does. I'm gonna undo that. So if I'm drawing an app layout and I want to color it in, if I miss an area, so like let's purposefully miss a little area, and then we're gonna go back through and fill it in. Does it overprint? No. Great. That's awesome. I prefer that. All right, let's go ahead and switch this to manual focus so that the focus doesn't jump on you guys. This looks great. So something you should know about the Supernote is the writing feel is different than just about any other tablet you'll use. And that comes from the screen technology and the nibs that they use in their pens. So most of these devices have a hard screen, usually glass, sometimes plastic, but usually glass, and it's rigid. And then they take a stylus that has like a cardboard equivalent nib, and the nib wears out because the surface is hard. And so all of your friction is coming from a film on that glass. Here on the Supernote, it is a flexible screen, and they've got a film on that that changes the feel, and they use a ceramic nib instead. And so this film on this screen takes the abuse and then returns back to its previous shape. So it's pretty interesting and pretty unique, but that does have some trade-offs. So I would say the Supernote feels like writing on a notebook where you've got a single sheet and then you've got other sheets underneath of it. So it's got some give. So as long as you don't press too hard, that feels great. If you have a very heavy-handed writing style where you really push down when you write, the pen tip can kind of dig, and it sometimes will interrupt your flow. And I'm maybe a little bit heavier than some in how I write, and I just have to remember to not press too hard on the Supernote. Not because I will hurt it. I'm not going to hurt the Supernote, but because it'll kind of dig and interrupt the stroke. So instead of the pen going where you think it'll go, it kind of bogs down a little bit. But again, all based on your personal writing preferences. I usually find that the Supernote doesn't feel like a perfect fit for me from a writing perspective, but I know tons of people who absolutely love it. And the new Feel-Right 2 film that is on the A5X2 and is on the A6X2 solved a large degree of that. I found that writing on the A5X was way harder than writing on either of these two devices. Here, so let's pull out the A5X and try and write on this. Okay, undo. Oh, I've got it set to refresh. Interesting. Oh, that's right. Okay, so the A5X only has one bar, and so the undo and redo is different. Yeah, so yeah, I'm digging really hard on the A5. I much prefer writing on the X2. Mikhail asks, can I get a ceramic nib for a Kindle Scribe pen and use that with the Supernote? Will the button and eraser work on the Supernote? You can get a ceramic nib for the Scribe pen. Whether or not the button and eraser will work is a good question. Lucky for you, I can answer that question. So yes, you can write with it. And honestly, the base nib doesn't feel terrible. I feel like you could use a Scribe pen just fine and it would work. The eraser, The eraser is very thin. Hold on. Let me change my eraser thickness. That might be affecting this. So if I pick a big eraser. Yeah, the eraser is not great in that it's very narrow. But about the button does selection. That's kind of cool. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, so Mikhail, amazing question. So if you hold the button on the Kindle Scribe pen, it does a lasso erase, which I never would have thought to do, but it actually works great. Cool thought. So yes, I don't know that you need the Scribe pen though. You may be better off using a different pen that has a button. I'm trying to think of what has a button. My base Lamy has a button. Hold on. I would probably prefer this one. And I know that you can put a ceramic nib in this. So hold on. This, hold on, I've got an eraser selected. So this has a titanium nib in it. I don't like it quite as much as the ceramic nib, but it's still not bad. And if I press the button, yes. Yeah, you get lasso erase with the button. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, if you have a Kindle Scribe pen, great. If you're going to go out and buy a pen, I think you'll be happier with the Lamy. Because I don't know that you can open this to put the ceramic nib in it. Because it's not just the nib that you change when you want to convert a pen to ceramic. You have to change the whole cartridge, which Supernote does sell that cartridge that you can buy to put in a stylus. I think there are some DIY hacks that you can swap in, but I think you're better off changing the whole cartridge. Hey, Vladimir's in the chat. Welcome, Vladimir. Vladimir says the Lamy button works great. Wish the new ceramic tip Lamy had a button. Yeah, the Safari twin tip does not have a button, but you can get the regular Lamy. I guess let me pull up and show you guys this. So this pen, oh, can you guys see my, yeah, there you go. There's my cursor. This pen does not have a button. This pen does not have a button. This pen does not have a button. And I don't think this one does either. Let's take a look at this. These are all Safaris. The Safaris don't have it. The OG Lamy has it. Yeah, there's no button on this one. Let's see. Heart of Metal 2. I don't have a Heart of Metal 2. At least I don't think I do. But I do believe they still sell. Okay, so this is the ceramic refill I was talking about. You can put this in most pens, assuming you can get them open. And again, it's the whole middle. One thing you can't do is you can't put this in a aluminum-bodied pen, just because if the aluminum touches this, you're gonna have problems. It doesn't look like they sell the original Lamy anymore. But you should be able to find it online. It's still something that's regularly made, and you can swap that out. Let's see. That's pretty cool. Mikhail, thank you so much for asking that question, because I didn't know that you could lasso erase with that, and that's a great default. I think that's a really nice touch. And honestly, is very Supernote of them. Like, they always do these subtle little things that show that they actually use their devices and care about what the experience is like. Really cool. Really, really cool. All right, let's switch back to overhead. I think we had some more questions. Yes, Scott says it's the All-Star EMR that has a button, which is this one. This is the All-Star EMR. Again, you should be able to get it on Amazon. You can, if you go to Lamy, like they have a shop in New York, which is where I bought this one. But you should be able to find them just about anywhere. But you do need to mod it. You need to swap it out. And again, about the aluminum, I always wanted to put a like ceramic nib or an EMR in the Studio Neat Mark 1, but because it's a metal bodied pen, everything I've seen is you can't do it. It won't do what you want it to do. So Brian says, so I probably missed a bunch, but how would you say the writing feel compares to the Remarkable 2 and the VWoods AI paper? Well, we can answer that question. Where is my Remarkable 2? I haven't used my Remarkable 2 in a while just because I've been using the Paper Pro. So let's make sure it's charged. We'll open that up, or we'll turn that on rather. It may need to be charged actually. Hold on, we'll plug this in off screen, and then while that's charging, we'll check out the VWoods AI paper. So VWoods AI paper. So VWoods AI paper versus Supernote A5X2. So let's use the built-in pens for both of these. Okay. Okay, so my critique on the writing feel of the AI paper is there's not any real friction at all. It's very maybe wet gel pen, but not a sharp wet gel pen. And so there's just no real friction. But for those who like to write quickly, that can feel pretty good. It is a hard surface, so there's no give in this surface. So it's a very like quiet, quick. Again, I've got mine set to a thick stroke, and so it feels very like inky. So it moves really quickly. And then the Supernote is more friction than that. And then again, it has more give. So if you press harder, you feel more resistance, kind of like your pen tip is sharp. So if you've ever used a pen that has kind of a sharp tip to it, like Pilot G2, for example, if you press too hard with a Pilot G2, the paper starts to kind of give you more friction and you can feel that. Whereas the rest of these devices don't really have that sensation. All right, Remarkable. Remarkable is going to feel completely different. Let's see. And again, obviously the Remarkable 2 and the Paper Pro have two different feels as well. Someone was asking, how does it compare with the A6X2? Everything I'm feeling is the A6X2 and the A5X2 feel identical. Yeah, they're the same. They feel identical. So yeah, Dennis, no difference between the A6X2 and the A5X2. If you like the feel of the A6X2, you'll like the feel of the A5X2. Scott says, there are Etsy sellers that make 3D printed custom inserts for the G2 and the Lamy Safari clicker ballpoint. I didn't know Safari had a clicker. That's cool. I think I mentioned this at the Open, but I really love the clicker pen from Supernote. Again, it's not the most premium feeling thing, but it matches the way I want to use a device. It's very great on the go. I can have it open when I want to use it. I can close it when I don't. I can take this on the go and never have to worry about messing it up. It's awesome. Alex says, why is the Supernote screen so dark compared to the others? Is it? I don't know that it is. I think you're probably reacting to the bezel. So the bezel on this is brighter, whereas the bezel on this matches the device. I think it kind of gives you the sensation that it's darker. With that said, I will say the Supernote brightness is not the brightest usually. I usually find that it's slightly darker than the Remarkable. But yeah, no front light. That also plays a factor. The Supernote is definitely a device that you need adequate light to use, because yes, it's not light emitting at all, and it doesn't have a great white point. This was one of my critiques on the original A5, is that you feel that bright point. But the other thing is the AI paper, I don't know what they did on this device, but it has the best contrast of any Carta 1300 I have seen. Like, this is super inky and black. Like, if you were to put this next to the Remarkable Paper Pro, you would hate the Paper Pro, because the black point on the Paper Pro is bad and the black point on the AI paper is great. So here, like, you want to talk about like white point? The white point on the Paper Pro is not great, and the black point is very blue, versus the AI paper, super dark. It's gorgeous. I love how contrasty this is. It's awesome. And even the scribe is not as contrasty. Let me see. I think, does anyone know if the scribe is a 1300 or a 1200? I don't know off the top of my head. But if you're just doing black and white, like, that is gorgeous. I mean, their software still needs some work, but from a pure contrast perspective, top notch. Vladimir says the scribe is 1200, and that feels right. The V Woods is the darkest or the highest contrast I've seen. Vladimir, does anything else have a 1300 right now? Does anything like production ready have a 1300 other than the V Woods? I can't think of any. Maybe the 10.3? Does the Go 10.3 have a 1300? I didn't think the 10.3 felt quite as... The Note Max will have it? Okay. Yeah, the Note Max isn't out yet. I mean, you might be able to buy one, but they haven't shipped to anyone yet. So Ari says that the Kindle and the Kobo have it, but they're only readers. Stanham, I haven't found that the new scribe is any different than the old scribe. They feel the same. Yeah, and this doesn't feel as dark to me. Here, let's put like a thick line on it. Yeah. The 10.3 is not. Yeah. Confirmed. Like, that is noticeably different. Kudos. Yeah, Larry, it seems like the Supernote is a Carta 1200. All right. What else do we want to talk about on the A5X2? I mean, the design on this, fantastic. If you are a Supernote user and you like the A5X, this seems like a great upgrade. And something I think they'll support for a while. I guess the biggest limitation is the one we just identified. Hold on, Angel says the A5X2 should be a Carta 1300. Hold on, let's go check the marketing. Let's see. Let's see if they've said anything. Doesn't feel like a 1300 to me unless V Woods is doing something special. So 10.7, 300 pixels per inch. Upgradable motherboard, upgradable or expandable storage, replaceable battery. Screen distance feels good. Keywords and structure. You can use a thumb drive. That's pretty sweet. Yes. Heart of Metal pen. Yeah, I haven't seen where they've said anything about 1200 versus 1300. It definitely feels anecdotally like a 1200. Oh, it's Mobius versus Carta. That's the difference. So it's a 1300, but it's not a Carta 1300. It's a Mobius 1300. Okay. That explains it. When here, let's see. Got some specs over here. Yeah, I don't see... The Mobius sounds right, though, because the Cartas are rigid and the Mobius are flexible. So that checks out. Yeah. Again, still great, but just something to be aware of, is it is a little different. If you are looking for the greatest contrast you can get, seems like V-Woods is the best you can get at the moment. All right, Brian says, thoughts between capabilities and overall value between the Manta and the Remarkable 2, which I can get discounted locally at $375 with the pen and the Folio. I think that's going to come down to preference around writing feel and longevity. The Remarkable 2 is, in my opinion, reaching its end of life, where it already feels dated. So this is a 300 pixel per inch device in the Supernote versus the Remarkable is in the 200s. And you feel that difference in screen quality between the two. And so I would say if you're looking to buy a device and keep it for a number of years, then you would be better pressed going with the Supernote. Or like even like a Books Go 10.3. In my opinion, the Go 10.3 is the closest thing to a modern Remarkable 2, even more so than the Remarkable Paper Pro. I personally daily drive a Remarkable Paper Pro because I like the size of it and I love the Remarkable writing experience. But there are definitely trade-offs that come with having color. I like the color because I highlight and do things like that. But if you don't need color, the black and white devices look better and perform better. So that's kind of how I would think about it. If you can get an opportunity to use a Supernote and figure out whether you like the writing feel, I think that's the biggest factor here. I think Supernote has the best software of any of these devices and really understand what people want in a writing experience. And you have a lot of tooling that you can use to make it your own. So hopefully that answers your question. And if you have further questions, feel free to follow up. Tech for Real says, also for anyone in healthcare, the Supernote is HIPAA capable. Yes, the Supernote is HIPAA capable, and the Remarkable 2 and Remarkable Paper Pro are all HIPAA capable. Dennis asks, can the A5X2 export documents and scale them up to A4 sized PDFs? Oh, I tested this and I don't remember the answer. If you go back, I did a video on what the export quality is like on all of these devices. And I did comparisons of whether they do vector-based output or not. Check out that video. That's probably a bit of a tangent that we probably shouldn't go to. All right. Prasanth, and I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, asks, why should I buy this over the Note Air 4C? Well, that all depends on whether you want and need color. So where the 4C shines is it has color. I don't think the screen looks as good as any of these screens that we've looked at on the 4C. So if you need color, great, go with the 4C. If you don't need color, then I like the Go 10.3 better than the 4C. But it depends on whether you want a front light, whether you want color, and whether you want Google Play Store. Because you can sideload apps onto the A5X2, and so you still get that benefit of running Android apps. This is running Android 11 versus Android 13, so that may factor into your decision making. But yeah, the Note Air 4C is a little bit in no man's land for me. It's more of an iPad than a note taker. So I actually like the 10.3 from Books better than that device. All right. Alex says, both screens are made by the same company. Yeah, they're both made by E-Ink. The Mobius is more durable, and I heard people mention it allows you to dig into the screen more. Yes, definitely. You can feel that front and center. Larry says, no way I'm buying this without the highest contrast experience available after so much frustration with the Remarkable Paper Pro. I would say that the V Woods is like extra contrast. The Remarkable Paper Pro is one of the lowest contrasts you can get, if not the lowest contrast you can get. So I wouldn't say you should rule out the A5X2 because of contrast, but if the highest contrast is what you desire, V Woods is the highest you can buy today. And Alex says the Supernote, Supernote was talking a lot about how it's more durable as plastic. Yeah, I mean, I've dropped the A5X and it handled just fine. There's no glass to worry about breaking. It's a bit more resilient. Like it may crack, but it's not going to shatter or it's not going to splinter. And so again, that gets into that unpopular opinion of using plastic. It's not something you would think to use, but from a realism perspective and a living with it perspective, it's really great. I love it. All right. Hans says, sorry for repost. The calibration seems better. Latency is a little slower than the 10.3. For me, the book's calibration is terrible and I need to demagnetize it a lot. Well, this is plastic, so I would think there's less room for demagnetization. Here, we can do anecdotal tests on latency. Let's see. Next page, please. All right, let's grab, we'll use the V Woods pen. Feels pretty good. Supernote's maybe slightly slower. I'm sure Voya will do a more scientific test at some point on input latency. But yeah, anecdotally, the 10.3 feels a little faster. But I don't think this is problematic or is going to slow you down in any meaningful way. All right, Lloyd asks, which pen do you suggest to buy with the Manta? The Lamy Safari Vista or the Heart of Metal 2? I don't have a Heart of Metal 2, so I can't really comment on Heart of Metal 2. I do have a Heart of Metal 1. And I think it depends on if you want a luxury feeling pen or a, I guess, more practical feeling pen. The Heart of Metal is actually weighted. It feels like an expensive desk pen. So if you want that luxurious feel, then yeah, go with the Heart of Metal. If you want something that looks and functions well, and like this can actually be a pen and an EMR stylus, which is a nice bit of function. Again, the other option is you could do Lamy All-Star and put a ceramic nib in it, and then you get the button. The button was surprisingly cool. This is like way more useful. I didn't expect that. So I think that's your best option. And not to complicate things, but my personal favorite is this one. But doesn't feel luxurious at all. It's just highly functional. But hopefully that's helpful. Good luck. It's a tough decision. Garav says, I really wish it had a front light as an option. I love the digest feature with the square bracket thing. Wish other devices had that. Yeah, so Supernote has the best software. And again, I think they're trying to seek the most paper feeling writing experience. And so they cut no corners and they forwent the front light in order to minimize the distance. Joe says, if you write, then choose the Supernote. If you want to read, then go with the Paper Pro or the AI Paper. Yeah, I would say if you want to read, go with the Kindle Scribe, because it's definitely a reader first, writer second. I guess if you don't use the Kindle Store, then you've got a lot more options, but I'm personally a Kindle reader. All right. Lots of questions. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. I have to scroll back. I'm missing some. So Gaurav said, regarding the Note Air 4C, many people can tolerate the Kaleido 3. I personally cannot. The graininess is very distracting. 100% agree. I am mentally very done with Kaleido. I do like the Paper Pro's... crap. What is it called? What is this based on? Gallery 3. So I think the Gallery 3 is better than Kaleido, but still has some trade-offs. So someone asks, can you show the pencil in Atelier mode? Sure, I could do that. Maybe Atelier is not installed by default. Let's see. Sorry, someone should have mentioned that there's glare. All right, so let's download Kindle. Let's download Atelier. Oh yeah, I forgot. The Supernote runs Kindle. So as long as you don't need the front light, that's a good option. Trilink says, did you mean Hippo capable? No, talking about HIPAA. So this is in the US, what would you call this? A protocol or an expectation on how you manage patient data in healthcare and how you're securing it to ensure that people don't gain access to it. And so, yeah, the Supernote supports that. So if you are a healthcare worker and you want to take notes in a conversation, you can do that on this device. You can do that on the Remarkable devices as well. Rex says, would be interested to see typing latency down the line if it's not too much trouble. Not too much trouble at all, Rex. Let's take a look. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that now. Let's grab... Trying to figure out which USB I want to use. Let's use this one. Sorry, I've got a mess of cables right now. And can I do this without looking? Hey, I win. All right, can you guys see? Does this work? All right, we're installing Kindle. Let's go in and add a new Word document or typed document. I don't know about this. It's a lot of latency. Let's try this again. Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't think I could use this, or I don't think it's a good experience to use this. I mean, I typed without any errors, but the latency did throw me off a little bit. I'd be better off not looking at it than looking at it from an accuracy perspective. I think the Vive Woods in fast mode felt better than that. So could you do it? Yeah, I would rather type on my computer than type on this. Joe says the typing latency on the Nomad is almost non-existent, where that's not the case on the Go 10.3. Hold on. Let's compare. That didn't feel amazing just now on the A5X. Let me see if the A6X2 feels any different. Oh, can I run this landscape? That would be pretty cool. It'd be even better if I could run it this way. Hold on, we're gonna do some craziness. Will it go landscape? I don't think it'll go landscape. Anyway, we'll do it this way. see. Oh, that is different. Hold on. Okay. Joe is correct. There is less latency on the A5X2. I don't know why. I can't explain that. Let me try this again. Make sure it's not like a fluke. Also, I need to make sure there's not any updates. That does not feel as good. Yeah, that's not great. There is definitely a difference between the A6X2 typing experience and the A5X2 typing experience. Let me make sure there's not a software update. It's up to date. Let me restart it. That was a pretty significant difference. Thank you, Joe, for mentioning that, because that was not on my radar. So Alex says, I tried one of the original Supernotes back in the day and ended up not keeping it due to the plastic feeling a bit cheap. How does the feel and flex of the new one feel? There's less flex on the new one. It feels better made. I felt like the A6X2 also felt better made. But that said, I think if you're sensitive to the plastic, then the Supernote may not be for you. So Gaurav says an 8-inch Carta 1300 with a front light would feel perfect for me. I think you'll see that at some point. So maybe just hold out a little bit. No need to rush. Scott says putting a ceramic nib in the All-Star EMR is possible, but requires some fine motor control as you have to do a little surgery with an X-Acto knife. Can you show the pen to ink distance? I don't know how to show you pen to ink distance. I mean, I can show you kind of a side profile up close. We can give that a try and see what that does. I don't know that it'll be super scientific, but we can give it a try and see how it goes. Where did I put my pen? Okay, so we're gonna give this a try. So this is side profile. Oh, is it? It's in type mode, sorry. Hopefully glare doesn't cause us issues. Oh, it's detecting it as a lasso. I mean, yeah, there's almost no distance. The best way I've found to test this, not so much pen distance, but pen latency, is fast strokes. So how far delayed is it? And so if you play this back, you can see how much delay there is behind the pen on these fast strokes are where I find it most notable. And no, this feels great. I don't have any concerns there. Ari says, I love reading articles and papers on the Remarkable Paper Pro because it's bigger than most devices. Yeah, it's great in that regard. I think the new Note Max will also be really good as well. All right. Dr. Ben says, I tried the Paper Pro and the Go 10.3 side by side for academic papers, and the Remarkable Paper Pro's lower resolution made it way harder to read compared to the Go 10.3, even though the Paper Pro's screen has such a nice size. So it's not a resolution issue as much as it is a dithering problem. So I think they're both technically 300 pixel per inch screens, but the introduction of color complicates it a lot. Maddie X asks, what e-ink tablet would you recommend for a student who needs to read a lot of technical literature in PDF and do a lot of writing for math and planning? This one's pretty good. Maybe the Go 10.3. I don't think you're going to want to go any smaller than that. I think the Note Max is probably too big. So those are probably the two I would take a look at. So Rex says, I remember seeing for the A6X that the text version was a little better than the DocX version. Okay. I didn't... What do I change? Did I pick? I don't know. I don't know. Let me know. It's not obvious to me what you mean there. TJ says the downloads may be taking some RAM. Oh yeah, so I restarted. Let's see if after the download. No. There must be something different in the screen tech between the two different sizes. That doesn't feel as good. I guess let's try the AI paper. So this is running a Carta 1300. I think they have a note mode. I believe. Did I make that up in my head? They have a PDF mode. I mean, I could run an app. I don't know why I was thinking they had text. Can someone remind me? Oh, here we go, text. Yes, they do have text. So let's... I don't remember where the plug is on this one. Plug's on the bottom. Yeah, so I'm in the like quality mode. Quality mode feels terrible. You switch to ultra fast. I need this to be bigger. So this is their fast mode. Yeah, that one feels great. I can type on that one just fine. So yeah, if typing is important to you, I don't think the A5X2 is the answer. All right, let's see. Start to wrap this up here in a second. Any chance of a dropper water test? No, not today. Oh, Stanham says that students get $20 off with Supernote with an academic email. Cool, go check that out. Joe says the latency on the Go was also terrible. Must have something to do with the screen size. Joe, did you try it on the ultra fast screen refresh? Gorov says it's for those who write, not for those who type. Yes, it's true. Okay, I guess let's wrap up a little bit on the A5X2. Overall, if you're an A5X user and you've got the money, seems like a great device. Again, if you love Supernote, this is more of what you love. And I think it was worth the wait. I think it's a cool device. Again, the writing feel is still not perfect for me, but I know there are plenty of people who really love that writing feel. Not great for those who type, as we said, and go from there. Very future-proof. Aside from, again, it being Mobius, again, it's not the highest contrast you can get, but all of the major internals like the battery and the motherboard are user swappable. I guess let's try this one more time. Let's see if I can open this. Someone said I had to slide. Let's see if I can open this without breaking it. So you slide. I feel like they gave me, let me look at the instructions. I feel like there are instructions on how to do this. Oh, Scott joined just in time for the wrap. Hopefully that answers your question around this device. Let me see. They had instructions for... Hold on. Oh, my keyboard is not plugged in, so typing on my computer is not going to go very far. How to open it. Safely remove the back. How do we safely remove the back without breaking it? Because I feel like that's where we're headed. So you take a credit card, you go underneath. That all looks good. And then you pull. Okay, we did it. Thank you, video. And yeah, I think I may have knocked some of the adhesive loose. That's on me, but not a big deal. All right, so here are the internals. This is going to be your battery. That's user replaceable. You can just take these screws off. This is your motherboard. There's your micro SD slot. All these things can be swapped out if needed, which is really nice. No one else is doing this yet. I feel like Supernote's ahead of the curve here. I know this is a EU requirement on the battery piece. So hopefully we'll see more of that from other players. You can also take this pen loop out if you want to. So if you don't use the pen loop, you can remove it. And there's a thing that they give you to put in here so that dirt doesn't get in. That's pretty nice, the option to be able to make this what you want it to be. I kind of like the pen loop, so I'm going to put it back. And then the same screwdriver works for all of the other screws underneath here. So pretty cool. Nice that they include that. It's clear that they actually want you to be able to repair it. Okay, this is the correct direction. Now, putting it back in. Hold on, they have a video for this as well. Be well served to watch the video. Reattach. How do we reattach this? All right, so you put it in the way I've got it, or you start lower. Then you slide it in, and then these nibs should push down. You have to give it a little bit of force. Doesn't, oh, that one's not slid in well. So we need to slide this back, push down while sliding. There we go, that sounded better. Yes, okay. Follow the instructions. Don't try and do that by yourself. It is very doable and not a problem to do, but make sure you watch the video to do it, because otherwise you can really mess it up. So Scott says that he had a Remarkable 2 with a power button issue, and he bought another one, but the Supernote's ability to create links in documents is alluring. Yeah, it's a great feature. I really love it. All right, let's see. What else? Multicolor pen loops coming. Dr. Ben says that looks so dangerous. It's a little nerve-wracking, but if you follow a video, it's not too bad. Someone mentioned a crystal edition, and hold on. The Supernote folks were feeling very nice, and so I think there's also a crystal edition Lamy A5X2, which, hold on, I'm really curious to see this stylus. So this is something else that they have. I assume this is on their site. Hold on, let's check. Is the Crystal Edition A5X2 Lamy collab something you can just get? Yes. Okay, Supernote Lamy special set. $489. Includes the Crystal Lamy Safari, the Crystal Supernote, and has the Folio and a reusable metal box. Okay, hold on. I'm very curious. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that in this video, but you know what? I'm feeling it. Let's do it. Karov says 4 unboxings in a row. Yeah, this is definitely a high score for me. I didn't set out to do 3 unboxings this week, but the V-Woods came in, the new Scribe came in, the Supernote came in, and it was sort of like, I need to do this. So hopefully you're enjoying it. Might be a minute before I'm on here again, just because I've been so busy with this stuff. Okay. Supernote Nomad Crystal Edition, which I don't have a crystal one, so this is cool. Let's take a look. This is fun. Hold on, let me turn the autofocus on. This is fancy. This is really fancy. For the collectors in the audience. This is kind of bougie. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty sweet. They like show you where everything is. This is pretty slick. I feel very targeted. This is pretty sexy. This is cool. The acrylic is kind of interesting. It has a different feel than the regular Nomad. So the regular Nomad is like a matte finish, and this one is that like clear Game Boy acrylic. Again, I think it just comes down to personal preference, but it looks really cool. I feel like I need to make sure I put everything back exactly where it goes because it's so pretty. You get Lamy stickers. Quick start guide. I'm pretty sure I know everything in it. Oh, is the cord different? Did I just not look at it closely? No, the cord is the same. So it's got this kind of squared out cord that matches the top of the device. It's pretty. Warm reminder that you can scratch this very easily. So use the Folio. I don't know that I would ever use this gift box, but it's so pretty. So Stanham asks, which do you think is better, the Kaweco or the Lamy, or Lamy rather, pen on the Supernote? I didn't like the Kaweco on the Supernote. I still love the Kaweco, but I don't like it on the Supernote. So if you're asking specifically about the Supernote, not the Kaweco. How do I get this out? It's so pretty. So this is, I guess the Safari is now like a plastic version of the All-Star. Hold on. What is the difference between, let's close this. What is the difference between the All-Star and the Safari Clear? Dimensions-wise, very similar. Material-wise, very different. But form factor? Oh, the shape here is different. I had to sand this to make it feel better, but no button. All right, let's give this a shot. Does the cap? No, the caps are slightly different. Scott says the Safari came first. Vladimir says this is such a cool idea. I think anyone would be thrilled to find that under the tree. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. Again, if you love an A5X2, this is like a definitive edition. Scott says the Safari came first. The Vista is just a clear plastic Safari. The All-Star is what if we made Safaris out of aluminum? I see. The cover has a big Lamy logo, which I'm not a big fan of. It does? Mine doesn't. Where's this Lamy logo you're talking about? I think it's a sticker. I don't think you have to use it. On the back? No. I think it's a sticker. It's optional. Oh, there it is. It is there. It's at the bottom. I don't know. I kind of like Lamy. I don't mind that. Did it not log in? Log in, please. Lost my clear pen. There it is. Incorrect password. I typed it wrong. It's on me. See what we think of this pen. I just did it. Don't make me do it again.
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
Okay, thank you, Siri. Appreciate you. All right, we're gonna move this to the bottom. Yeah, it's fun. It's really great. Ooh, I don't love that sound though. Okay, hold on. So I don't know about you guys, but I am a fidgeter. And so one of the things I often do is I will untwist my pens. And this one has a little bit of a squeal when you do that. I'm sorry to all of you. I'm going to not do that anymore, but I don't know if I would be able to use this pen all the time because I would accidentally do that. So like, for instance, I do it with the Dr. Grip as well. That one doesn't have any noise when you do it. The Lamy All-Star doesn't. And so I do this all the time. Be thankful that you don't sit in my office and have to hear me fidget. All right. Let's just check the typing. I want to make sure that the typing speed is the same on this edition. I don't think there's any reason to believe that it wouldn't be. I do kind of like the acrylic. It's really nice. Again, if you already have an A5X2, no need to buy a second one, but this is a fun addition. Let's go create a document. I can't type, but that's on me. Yeah, feels good. Feels good. Okay, I think that's probably a good place to stop. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. Some cool new options from Supernote. Long awaited, and I think they definitely held up to expectations. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out Playlist, the thing that I work on when I'm not creating videos to help you keep on task with things you need to do, while still keeping focused on the fact that you get things done one task at a time. You can go sign up for the waitlist and join the beta at playlist.day. And I do need to plug in my keyboard if I want to be able to show you guys the Supernote A5X2 in Playlist. Let's go ahead and mark this as done. Press E to mark it as done. And now I need to go reply to Drew. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And until next time, cheers.